We're going to talk about a fundamental difference between the programming languages Python and C++. And that is the type system of each language. And that is important because coming from a Python background, most probably you know that the type system of Python is dynamic. You might not know exactly that maybe you haven't thought that it is dynamic or that there is any other way. However, it is a major difference between C++, which is the type system is static. And we're going to talk exactly about what it is that in Python you come directly and you can declare a variable just like that, x equals to 5. And that is it. You don't have to do anything else. You're gonna send your program to the interpreter, and it's gonna run perfectly fine. There is not going to be any issue. However, if you do come at C++ and say x equals to 5, your program will not compile. We already see that there is some sort of error in here because you cannot just allocate values to variables without saying what type this variable or function or whatever you're handling is. So in Python, all these built-in types that we have, for example, there are some built-in types already, and that could be let's say there are list, there is dict, there is a string, there is integer, and all of these built-in types, as well any other custom object that you have, you can very quickly just allocate that to a variable, and there is no problem. For example, you can say if you have a class called data, and then you want to create x equals data, that's again no problem. You just do it like this, and it is allocated. However, in C++, what you have to do is that you have to very well specify in advance what the actual type of the variable is. In this situation, we can see that it is an integer, and when I am assigning this value to a variable, I have to say that it is an integer in advance, because actually integer is also a built-in type of C++. They're not exactly the same as it is with Python, but it sort of follows the same logic. And you have to say that it is an integer in advance. And for example, the same way that I can go and say x equals to 5 and then x equals to 10.5, and Python will have no problem if I come here and say that later x we allocate the value of 10.8, there will be a problem because it is an integer. So x is an integer, so we cannot allocate anything else but integers in this without having any problems when the program is being compiled. Something that I added some semicolons is not too important over here, but yes. This is what people need to have in mind, and therefore there are some built-in types in C++. This will be, there are some, but the main ones are the integer in 4 bytes, the double in 8 bytes, Boolean, exactly like in Python, actually in this situation, character, and some other ones that go into depth, but these are the fundamental ones. And then, of course, you can also create any type of custom object you want, and it will be, and you have to say what type of object it is. For example, if I sort of created the structure of a class, I had to say the class name, so that I can, the object name, the class name in advance, then have my variable name, I'll say now, and then I will allocate the specific value of what it is that I'm working with. And that is how, that's the main difference between Python and C++, and it changes the mindset when you are actually going to transition from Python, where everything is so flexible, to C++, where things need to be more rigid and more well defined.